Hello guys, welcome back, and in this video I want to show you how eager loading is really important in optimizing your Laravel app and just increasing your Laravel app speed. So I have this project here, and let me just open this code so that you can see what I've written here. So if I go to the code, initially I'd written this code without eager loading. I'd written it. Currently I'm applying eager loading, or rather initially I'd written this code with only applying eager loading on the section relationship only. All right, so here we have a course, and a course has section and a section has lectures. So I applied eager loading only on section like this. So this here was like this. So I was only loading the courses with section, while the lectures, they were being loaded from the view, or they were being displayed from the view. So the lectures are a relationship attached to this section, as many relationship here. I'll scroll down, and then okay, right here. So this is where I'm getting the lectures. This is what initially I was doing. I wasn't loading these lectures with courses on the eager loading or using eager loading. I was just loading this data only with the section like this. And so what I noticed is that if I go to the browser, I did install this Laravel debugger. It shows you the number of queries that you are able to execute behind the scene while performing this relationship and stuff. So is that when I do without eager loading, let me just do a refresh here, and you see how this is quite interesting. Okay, see, when I do this thing without eager loading, it executes around 30 statements. That basically means is that it executes statement for each of these section, or rather for each of the lectures that we have here. If you look here, is that it goes, in order to get a lecture for each of these section, is that it will execute here select all from lectures where lecture.section ID is that, and lectures.section ID is not null. So it has to do this query even though I do not have any lecture for this section here. So it has to literally execute this query so that it can get the lectures for that particular section. All right, and this is done on when I load this page. So for example, now if I add another section here, so let us add another section. So it will literally have, again, to, when creating this section, it will literally have to execute this query while fetching this data for the section. All right, and so when I run this, so as you can see, this now will execute around 32 statements. And this is really poor if you know of the n+1 issue, whereby if you fail to load all the data in the controllers, and you call the relationship in the view, it will literally have to execute the queries over and over, one by one again, in order to get that data. When I go inside let me just go inside this guy here, and go inside this guy here, is that anytime it wants to get this lecture here, it has to execute a query. All right, and so the way I was able to solve this is that if I go back to my guy here, to this section guy here, is that I did added this relationship, or rather I did eager load also the lectures. So what this will do is that it will load all the lectures before going to the view. So all these lectures will be pre-populated before going to the view, and when it reaches the view, now it will just be getting the data that has already been loaded, and hence it won't execute another queries or other queries to get the data from the database. So let me just show you. So currently we are using around, if you check here in Laravel debugger, we're using around 100 milliseconds, and that is a lot of time. If I do a refresh, the number of query statements, or the number of queries, is down to 5. This is really wonderful. As you can see down here again, it executes only one statement to get the lectures, and that is select lectures from, and then it passes all the section IDs in a bracket, and so it only executes the lectures once, and it doesn't execute this query to get the lectures every time the section is being loaded. And as you can see, the number of the execution time has drastically reduced to 23.89 from, I believe it was 100. So this becomes really important. For example, assuming that you have 1,000 or 10,000, 10,000 records here, that will be a lot of execution time if you're using if you don't eager load in your project. And so that is what I wanted to share with you. Make sure that every time you load data in your project or load relationship, make sure you eager load so that it can save you time while loading data in huge chunks.